Welcome back. In this video, we'd like to add the ability to have different crosshairs per weapon, which means we're going to add some things to our weapon data table right here in F weapon data table in the weapon.h file. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, we're going to need crosshair textures for the left, right, bottom, and top, as well as the middle of the crosshairs. So let's add some U texture 2Ds. We're going to add a U texture 2D variable, that's a pointer, and it's going to be the crosshairs middle. This will be the middle of the crosshairs if there is one. Usually it's just a white dot. Now we're going to give these all the U property with edit anywhere, blueprint read write. So there's crosshairs middle. We're also going to have a crosshairs left. We'll have a crosshairs right. We'll have a crosshairs bottom, and finally a crosshairs top. So these are going to be in the data table, and we'll set these for each weapon type. Now we're going to want to have variables on the weapon class for each of these. So what I'm going to do is just copy all of these, and we're going to add these variables to the weapon class itself. So let's go all the way down to the private section of weapon.h, and let's add these variables. So they all have the same name as the variables in the data table. Now we're going to change the U property, however, since we're setting this from the data table in the onConstruction function. We don't want these to be edited anywhere. We're going to make these visible anywhere and blueprint read only. Now I'm going to give them the category data table and meta allow private access equals true. And I'll go ahead and just copy this U property and paste it for each of these new variables. Okay, so there are the variables. Now I'm going to add a comment just to the top one, and I'm going to say textures for the weapon crosshairs. Now we're going to set these in onConstruction. So let's go to weapon.cpp and go to the onConstruction function where we're setting all of these properties, and we're going to set the crosshairs. So let's go ahead and start with the crosshairs middle, and then we'll work our way down. So we're going to say crosshairs middle equals weapon data row crosshairs middle. Next we have crosshairs left, and we'll set this equal to weapon data row crosshairs left. Now we have crosshairs right, and that's going to be weapon data row crosshairs right. Next we have crosshairs top, which will be weapon data row crosshairs top. And finally we have crosshairs bottom, which will be weapon data row crosshairs bottom. Now what we need to do is set these in the data table for each weapon type. So let's compile this, and we'll head over into the editor. Okay, so we're here in the data table. I'm going to scroll down, and now we have these crosshairs. So for the submachine gun and the assault rifle, we can select different ones. Now, if you downloaded the textures folder from the GitHub page, the link will be in the resources, you should have the textures that we've uploaded. If you go to Game Assets, Textures, Crosshairs, then we have some crosshairs here. We're already using the crosshair quad crosshairs. We also have arrows, bottom, left, right, top, and we have a dot. We have a crosshair dot and a crosshair dot small. So why don't we go ahead and set some crosshairs. Now for the SMG, I'm going to go ahead and use some new crosshairs. For crosshairs middle, I'm going to type dot, and we're going to use crosshair dot small. Now for crosshairs left, we're going to type crosshair underscore arrow, and I'm going to choose crosshair arrow left. For crosshairs right, I'm going to use crosshair arrow right. For bottom, I'll use crosshair arrow bottom, and for top, crosshair arrow top. Now don't worry that you can't see these. If you double click on them, you can see what they look like. They're just a little arrow. So we've set these for the SMG. Let's go ahead and set them for the AR. So for crosshairs middle, I'm going to type dot, and we're going to use crosshair dot small. For crosshairs left, I'm going to type in quad 9, and I'm just going to use quad 9 left. And for crosshairs right, I'm going to use quad 9 right. For crosshairs bottom, I'll use quad 9 bottom. And for crosshairs top, I'll use quad 9 top. Now, they look like the full crosshairs, but if you go and double click on these, you'll see that they're just a single arm of the crosshair. All right, so now that our data tables have our crosshairs for each weapon, let's go ahead and save that and close it. So now we have crosshair textures in our data tables, and we've set these in on construction here in weapon.cpp. Now we need to actually draw them to the screen in our HUD. So we're going to do that in the next video. So we'll see you then.